They did not look like they were about to pull up some friggin' Jason Bourne, some friggin' Ben Affleck in the town type of bullshit. Hi guys, so today I am going to be telling the story that a lot of you have been requesting. I'm going to be telling you guys about the time that two women robbed the shit out of our Ulta, like in broad daylight, in front of employees, and they got away with it. So I am going to tell you exactly what happened. Yeah, I don't even know like where to begin with this. So basically one day I was working and I left at, I believe it was around like noon. So I leave for the day, nothing dramatic happens, I don't hear anything. The next day at work, one of the girls is going around cleaning and she starts to notice all of these tags in the fragrance section. Tags that were security tags on the fragrance, and there was a bunch of them in like the same spot. And then as she started cleaning, she found a ton of tags, like 50 tags. So then my manager's like, oh my god, somebody like stole a bunch of fragrance. Like, how could this have happened in the store while we were working? So she goes back and she goes into the back room and she's looking at the tapes, and on the tape it had showed the day before. I wasn't working, it was like later on in the day, but when a customer comes in the store, you are supposed to greet them. If you're out on the floor, you are supposed to greet them. You're supposed to check in, see if they need any help with anything. And not everybody is like that. Sometimes people are just, you know, they're talking to another coworker or whatever. But you're supposed to say hello to each customer who comes in the store, at least greet them, and just kind of be aware of where people are in the store in case they need help or in case something like this happens. So on the tape, you see these two women come in, and they're like at least like 45, maybe older. They did not look like they were about to pull up some friggin' Jason Bourne, some friggin' Ben Affleck in the town type of bullshit, okay? Like, I would not have even thought that these women would do this, but that's why you don't judge a book by its cover. So these two women come in, and they're larger women, and I say this for a reason, and I hope people don't take it the wrong way, but it's just for the purpose of describing the story. These women go into the fragrance section, and you can see that they're kind of looking around and making sure that nobody is coming. And nobody came up to them to say hello, which is like crazy to me. Like, I'm sorry, but whoever was responsible for fragrance that day like should have probably been fired because of what happened next. So they see that no one's looking, but one of the women, she had like a long skirt on, and all of a sudden her friend has like her like sleeve on like a perfume thing, and she's like this, and then she hands it to the woman with the skirt on, and the woman with the skirt, you're not gonna believe this shit, the woman with the skirt pulls her skirt up like to her waist. You could see her like Spanx. She starts taking the perfume, and she has this like, she had this like belt on, right? And she had a pillowcase type contraption attached to the belt. So it was under her skirt, attached to the belt. She had this fucking contraption, and she was taking the perfume and throwing it in like the actual Grinch, like stealing Christmas, but stealing from Ulta. Like, it was absolutely bizarre. I could not believe this like premeditated robbery that these two women cooked up. So the woman is like going speed racer style, like cutting the tags off. She must have had like a razor blade or something in her like sleeve, and she was just like cutting them off, handing them to her friend. And the friend was like tossing them in like friggin' the Grinch over here. And so we're watching this video in like disbelief that these two women are just doing this and getting away with it. And like the lady with the friggin' sack under her crotch is looking around, but like nobody comes over. Like, I cannot imagine turning the corner and seeing a middle-aged woman with a sack between her legs full of like fragrance and just her legs spread and her toss. I don't even know what I would have done. I honestly probably would have started fucking laughing and probably called the cops. But yeah, it was a very strange sight to see two grown women do this. Honestly bizarre, but so we're watching the tape and my manager's like, oh my fucking god, and we're all just like, I think I was like laughing because it was so ridiculous. How did nobody notice this happening? And so yeah, basically they got away with that. They didn't get caught. So since she was like a larger woman, I don't think anybody assumed that anything was wrong, because she was like kind of like walking out of the store like that. But like, you know, some people who are like really big, you know, sometimes like their knees can have problems, and I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just trying to explain like why she might have gotten away with that. Oh yeah, anyway, they leave and nobody even notices and they get away with it, right? So my manager talks to like everybody who was working that day, and like I could not believe like not a single person went over and said hi to these ladies or offered to help them, or were like, what the fuck are you doing throwing things in your underwear? So yeah, you'd think that would be the end of the story. Okay, these women stole $5,000 worth of fragrance. You would think that would be it, right? No, not right, not right. They probably thought, wow, that was so easy and I can't believe we got away with that, and we're going to go back and do that again in like a couple weeks. So they do. I think they waited, they might not have even waited a couple weeks. It might have been like the next week. But I know they came back like shortly after, and we had like their pictures in like a book up at the front. So I have mixed feelings about what happens next. So these two women come in the store. If it were me and I saw these two women come in the store, I would call security immediately. I wouldn't even go up to them, because I would probably want security to like catch them in the act, just because they do have video surveillance, but that's not as like damning evidence as if they were already stealing more shit. So I probably wouldn't have said anything to them and just like kind of ignored them, just like the first time, so that they thought they were like getting away with something. And I would have called security, because we were in a very small like outdoor mall type area, so they're like driving around the parking lot. They would have been there in like a couple minutes, not even. So they don't do that. This time one of the girls goes right up to them and she's like, hi, can I help you? Like really awkwardly. I don't know why the hell they did this, because it's like, hello, Captain Obvious. Now they know that they are probably like being sketchy, or you know something's up, like you're being completely weird to them. So they were like, okay, well, let me know. And they were like watching them like hawks, and I'm like, dude, you're not gonna like get them in trouble, because now they're not gonna do anything. Like, I don't know, it seems kind of obvious to me that you would just like not act like that and then call them, and then they would have gotten caught for the shit they did before, and if they had stolen anything now. But whatever. The girl goes up to them. They get freaked out, right? They get freaked out because this girl is now like watching them, and they're like, oh shit, we're not gonna be able to like do this. Maybe they know what we did, and we did know. So they freaking walk out. Well, one of the girls who worked there was gonna follow them outside to get their license plate. And if it were me, I would have fucking ran out, taken a picture of their license plate and ran back, ignored them, right? Like, screw what they have to say, whatever, doesn't matter. We have proof of you on video stealing. So what happened next was the girl walks out, and the women knew, like they knew that we knew something was up. And so they feel the Ulta girl walking behind them, and they both turn around and they go, can I help you? To her. And she was like, and she like freaked out. Like, I mean, I don't know what I would have done if they like confronted me, because you don't know if people are like willing to do that. You don't know if people have like weapons or whatever. So I don't blame her for like getting scared and like retreating. She turns around and like goes back to the store. I don't know why she did this. I honestly think that the manager should have done this, or the manager should have called security. I don't know what the hell they were doing, like not calling security, honestly. So the women got really freaked out. Guess what they do? So they get in their car and they start backing out of the parking lot. Like, you know how you like pull into a spot and you back out, but then you start driving forward again? They backed out of the spot, and then they backed up all the way like out of our view of the building so that they couldn't get the license plate because they didn't have the license plate on the front. It was like only on the back. I'm like, the fucking nerve. These people probably do this all the time. Like, I can't get over that shit. And they're like older women just throwing perfume in their crotch and getting away with that shit. I mean, I don't care. It's not my money, but when you work at a place, like, you don't want to see it getting robbed. It's just kind of like principle. I highly don't recommend any of you guys think that this means that you can just steal. It definitely doesn't. I mean, if you get caught doing that, like, you are banned. You will probably, if you're like over 18, you'll get in serious trouble. And I know when I was younger, my friend stole. One of my friends did get caught. She had to pay like $300, and then she was banned from like every single Nordstrom forever or something like that. So it's just not worth it, especially if you're older. Like, these women would have gotten felonies for the amount of shit that they stole. So I just don't want to recommend that you do that, and don't think that, you know, it's okay to steal, or that if you steal from an Ulta you're gonna be fine, because that's not what I'm telling you. A lot of the time they can catch you, and if you get caught, you're gonna get screwed. So it's just not worth it. Like, just buy the makeup palette when you have money to buy it, you know what I mean? So yeah, but these ladies did get away with it. It was absolutely absurd. Definitely a weird wrinkle in time for me. But yeah, I just thought it was a really funny story. I thought you guys might enjoy it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.